Hello. Hello. What's going on? There was a basketball game tonight that the Chicago Bulls participated in and won. The Chicago Bulls are 5-0 for the first time, 5-0, undefeated into the month of November for the first time. Well, scratch the November part. 5-0 for the first time since the Jordan era. Undefeated into November for this year. And it's good stuff, guys. It's very, very good stuff. Where to start? That's like I'm trying to think of where to even start because things tonight there's so much to get to. The box score, I guess we could start there. So we know that the Knicks are one of the best defensive teams coming out of last season. We know that we historically do not play very well against teams that are at the top of the Eastern Conference. We know all of these things. We know that the Bulls have struggled in big games. We know the Bulls have struggled in NBA Cup games. We know that they tend to collapse when expectations start to be placed upon them. And that was what everyone was kind of waiting for and questioning in their heads. Like, if this is real, we need more. We need to see it, and we need to see some kind of evidence or proof that it's not going to go the way that it always has. Tonight was your proof that things are different this time. The Bulls beating the Knicks in an NBA Cup game to stay undefeated, to put the Knicks to a losing record, so a game that the Knicks really wanted to win, a game that the Knicks fought hard in. The entire game, the Knicks fought hard. And the Bulls pulled it out. And that's new. That's different. I think we need to start by giving Billy Donovan some credit. I think Billy, I saw someone post on Twitter, I'll try to find the tweet later to give them credit for this, but Billy has doesn't push his players to push his star players rather to conform to a strategy or a style. He'll tailor the team around stars like he did with DeMar, like he did with Zach, and, Vooch to a certain extent as well. I think what you're seeing now is more control to run a team using his philosophy and going back to, his college career, getting guys to buy in, to play team basketball. And that's what feels different to me about this team versus where we came from, is that Billy seems to have the guys bought in right now. The guys seem to be bought into the strategy, to the scheme, and they are running the game plan like we saw, and we'll get to some game clips here in a minute. We saw running in transition, as always. They've been running in transition. We saw hard-nosed defense. We saw tons of ball movement. The ball was flying around. Guys were cutting to the basket. There's so much motion. There are so many picks. There are, ball screens, denials of ball screens, off-ball screens that come up right around the ball screens that then get staggered into the lane. Like, there's so many different facets to this offense that Billy Donovan, wrinkles to this offense that Billy Donovan has implemented. And not to shit on any former players, but there were times where the offense was flowing through one or two guys. The offense was stopping. The ball was stopping. That's what the term ball stopper means, right? The offense was slowing down through a couple of players. Fast forward to now. There is no one guy. Everyone can be the guy. But tonight, Josh Giddey, man. Career high, 32 points for Josh Giddey. He had 10 rebounds, 9 assists, so close to that triple-double on the career high. 4 for 8 from 3. Had another really, really strong stretch in the fourth quarter when we needed to close. He stepped up. He stepped up when we needed him to. Ayo Dosunmu. Another 20-plus point game off of the bench. 22 points in 29 minutes. 9 assists for him as well. Going to add a steal to that as well. Hits a clutch three-pointer in the fourth quarter. You got good contributions. Again, Jalen Smith coming off of the bench. We need a big man presence coming off of the bench when Vooch isn't in the game. We don't have Zach Collins right now. We have lacked size and physicality for years. It's been a problem for this team. Guess what? Jalen Smith. What's up, guys, on YouTube? Thank you guys for joining the chat. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Goro, what a game. I'm walking from the game. The Knicks defense played like shit. That must have been a fun game to witness in person. I am jealous for sure. I'm glad that you got to see it, though. Things are different. They held on, but they were beating the hell out of them. And I think that's what feels fucking good. That's what feels so good, is that when the Knicks fought back, we've seen it. We've seen the Bulls have a lead against a good team. That team fights back. The Knicks fought back so hard. They wanted to win this game. They did everything they could to win this game. I don't want to hear anything like, oh, it's early season, it doesn't matter that much. The Knicks really wanted to win this game. And they couldn't. They tried and they couldn't. And I am feeling super confident in our chances to make an actual playoff run. I'm not saying this team is going to win the finals, guys. I'm not saying they're not, no. I'm not saying they're going to win the finals necessarily, but I feel like what we've witnessed the first 5 games of this season is a lot closer to that than what we had witnessed the previous 4 seasons, 5 seasons, 6, however many seasons since we were actually a perennial playoff team. And I don't know, man, it's crazy because I feel like we were all like so negative and pessimistic about the front office. And, you know, there was some truth to that. And there still are things to be discussed about that. But no one, like, you can't tell me anyone expected this outcome. 5-0 to start the season. Like, if you had the tweet, send me the fucking tweet. I want to see it. Because I don't think anyone was expecting a start like this. Even in your wildest dreams of the best case scenario, you know, the Bulls start the season extremely hot. You say like, yeah, probably go like, 4-1, 3-2. Nah, man. Cheers from Brazil. We have a squad. Let's go. Global brand. Bulls basketball is back. Tell the world. There were some bogus calls. Girl mentions the cat was foul baiting. Yeah, they were playing to win. Jalen Brunson was trying to get them back into the game in the fourth quarter, and he could not buy a bucket. Like that's the kind of thing that we used to be horrible at, is when a player decides in their mind, like, I am going to take over. We've seen it again, just thinking back throughout history, like Dame, Giannis, Cat even, Brunson even, truly. Like, there have been games where these guys just flip that switch and they decide, like, you're not stopping me. And tonight the Bulls had the answer. They had the adjustments. I am super impressed with the way this team is playing right now. I think Nikola Vucevic deserves a ton of fucking credit for playing hard on both ends. Like, we already knew that he could play hard on offense. We already knew, that he is a talented offensive player, but having not only like the stamina at his age to be able to run the floor, play hard on both ends, but the effort. And I know that some people have criticized his defensive effort in the past. We're seeing it now. Active hands, going straight up in the lane, trying to avoid fouling, getting in passing lanes, using his length, using his size, and still doing all of the great offensive things that he's already good at: passing, scoring, shooting from 3, spacing the floor, opening it up for his teammates, running the pick and roll, setting screens. Like, Akira mentions in the chat, we have to trade Vooch at the deadline because his value will never be higher. I think we need to see what happens with Zach Collins first. You got to get Zach Collins back first. Make sure that you can run the same scheme with Zach Collins that you're running right now. And then, yeah, I'm down for the idea of trading Vucevic to try to maximize his value before his contract is up. With that said, though, if Vooch is still playing like this right now and the Bulls are still winning games at the deadline, just honestly fucking go for it, in my opinion. You're not going to get a lottery pick if you tank. And it's much better for your young players to have that kind of stable veteran to play through. Vooch being the hub of the offense. We got some more chats here. Ayo Dosunmu was crazy, deserves to be in 6 Man of the Year conversations. Yeah, especially because he's playing like a starter. And I think that is kind of the criteria for 6 Man of the Year. Like, would this guy be a starter on another team? And the answer for Ayo is absolutely. We are in a very unique position right now where our starters are playing well enough that Ayo is a luxury to bring off of the bench. Kobe White is injured and Ayo is still coming off of the bench. That is an insane luxury to have. Ayo is going to be in most improved player conversations as well. So I guess it remains to be seen, kind of what his minutes will shake out to be as the season develops. Klabu mentions, I hope I didn't mispronounce, low-key scared of Kobe White messing with the unselfish mentality, but I think he can adapt to the system. I definitely think he can, and I think we saw that the second half of last season. So I think that Ayo, if he's bought into this role, and if he's ready to be like the 6th man, this is a role that, he fits perfectly into. Now he's going to want some money soon. He's going to be up for a new contract soon. So he's going to want to get paid, rightfully so. But for this year, for right now, for what we have on this team right now, it's an insane luxury to have a player like him coming off of the bench, like a Caruso level luxury of being able to take a guy who is genuinely a two-way, an elite two-way player, and being able to bring them off of the bench, fresh legs, slot them in clutch situations if you need defense. I mean, Ayo can play, Ayo plays both ends. And yeah, Dodgers force Game 7. I know we gotta shout them out because we're all here talking about basketball while there's the World Series going on. It's tough for Kobe because he will feel pressure to prove himself and not get behind in the rotation. He's also an interesting trade chip. Akira, I agree absolutely. I think Kobe is probably our biggest trade asset. You might say Ayo. I would almost say Ayo is becoming more important to keep than Kobe at this point, because you do have scoring already, right? Like, Kobe is going to give you an elite level scorer. He's not going to give you elite level defense necessarily. But this is all hypothetical. We're going to see how it plays out. I think they give Kobe some time to work himself back. There's not going to be an immediate overreaction. We've seen how this team prioritizes continuity. So Kobe's going to get some time to mesh and to get back to speed, to game speed. That's kind of the one thing that I feel like really sucks for Kobe, is that he has this calf injury. And, our big thing now, like our big priority is conditioning and stamina and running. So that's the one thing that, with a calf strain, he's not going to be able to do while he's recovering. So I think that's probably what's playing into taking a little bit longer, is that I feel like they want to make sure that Kobe is ready to keep up this level of pace. Not only to make sure that he's physically prepared, but also to make sure that he doesn't, overstrain and overwork himself. So hopefully he is doing well in that recovery. Ayo is our glue guy, what Pat should have been. But hold on, because Patrick Williams played a solid game tonight too. 9 points again, almost in double-digit scoring, 2 for 4 from 3, plus 13 on the box score. I mean, listen, he's not he's not going to be a fourth overall pick star player. And we know that now. Accepting his role, accepting the player that he is better for everyone, for all of our mental health, our collective mental health, but also for him, man. Like, I'm guilty of it too. We set some unrealistic expectations on him. And, you know, it was because of where he was picked and because of the physical tools that he has. But that, you know, just because he isn't that player doesn't mean that he can't be a good contributor to this team. Someone had mentioned to me on TikTok, just kind of wondering, like, what would be the baseline level for Pat to reach for his contract to be worth it. And Klabu mentioned in chat, like, solid 3-and-D bench player. Without a doubt. That contract is always going to look like an overpay. But when you look at the contracts that are going to get handed out next offseason and the following offseason while this contract is still going, it's going to look like peanuts in comparison to that kind of stuff. So yes, maybe it's an overpay. It's an overpay by like $5 million, you know, like $5 to $8 million. And you can live with that, you know. Again, not to keep bringing up the past, but like the Lavine contract, that was one that you couldn't live with if he wasn't playing like a max contract player. Huerter, yes. Let's talk about Kevin Huerter, dog. Let's get to the tape. I think that's a perfect time to get to the game tape. Let's see here. Okay. Kevin Huerter, man. This dude is playing some defense, y'all. Like, we got Huerter in the Lavine trade thinking like, okay, you know, he'll be one of the pieces to replace the scoring that Zach Lavine gave us. He's been a good scorer, but look at the defense too. Good hands, good awareness, uses his body well. I mean, shout out Kevin Huerter, man. Let's see, we got a steal here. Look at that. Getting in the passing lane, pushing the ball up the court. I think this possession stalled out. But like, Kevin Huerter, man, where the hell did this guy come from? This is crazy. Look at this shit, man. That's nuts. That's nuts. Red Velvet, bro. There ain't no stopping Red Velvet. But he's also doing this. He's also going to hit some threes. So the Bulls have a balanced attack. Thanks for joining, Akira. Yeah, great win, man. We have a balanced attack right now. We have a team that has guys from top to bottom that can play. They're not all stars. We don't have 2 or 3 superstars. But we have a deep roster of guys who are solid to good to elite at certain things. They're not all elite players, but they're all elite at something. And that is what makes a balanced full team. And that is the vision that AK was selling us this offseason. And I will be the first to admit I was one of his biggest skeptics. I have been one of the biggest skeptics of this front office. And I'm seeing the vision now. And I will be the first to admit that I didn't see the vision at first. I was hesitant to give them any kind of credit for, you know, the returns they got for DeRozan, Lavine, and Caruso, because we felt like they could have gotten better returns for good players. What we didn't recognize in that moment was the philosophy and the fit of the players that they were targeting, right? You know, we felt like, why Zach Collins, or like, why Kevin Huerter? And looking in retrospect, you can see the idea. You can see having a team that is very deep, because you don't have that like 1 or 2 star player. Cartoony Cookie was there, man. I'm jealous. That was a great game to be at. An amazing night at the United Center. Like, this is what Bulls basketball is all about, is having the crowd loud into the game, going down to the wire. I mean, Cup Night. Like, Cup Night meant nothing the last 2 seasons to this team. Cup Night was just another game that we were going to try to kind of be a part of. And now we're looking at a team that like could actually make a run in this NBA Cup tournament. I know some people don't care. That's fine. Plenty of people don't care about the NBA Cup. And that's totally okay. It's the players. It's the fact that the players care about winning so much. They're having fun. They're playing for each other. And it's a beautiful sight. And this is team basketball. This is what team basketball is all about. Playing hard defense, communicating on defense, switching on defense, versatility on defense. I think that's another element of this team that maybe we didn't fully appreciate, you know, while they were going out to get some of these guys, while they're going to get a Jalen Smith, while they're re-signing a Patrick Williams. It's like not recognizing like the switchability of a defense like this, the ability to have like you have Trey Jones right now in the starting lineup filling in for Kobe White. You go from Trey Jones to Ayo Dosunmu to Kevin Huerter, the drop off in talent is non-existent. There's no drop off, right? Like we hear the term like value over replacement player sometimes. They're all good. They're all solid. They're all either on the same level or slightly better. And yeah, I'm very pleased and surprised with how this roster has developed. I think you also got to give credit to the coaching staff for the development of some of these players. Ayo Dosunmu looking like a genuine star on our team. Nikola Vucevic playing some of the best basketball of his career. Modest Buzelis, I haven't even mentioned him yet. He had a couple big plays. He had that alley-oop dunk. He had some clutch buckets, had some threes. He's hitting his threes better than he was to start the season. 4 for 10 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. I think he had a block. He had a block and a steal. Not his best game, like from a box score perspective, but the effort and the energy is what it's all about. And we saw it. We saw it up and down the roster. We've seen it up and down the roster in each game to start the season so far. Right? Like, it hasn't been an anomaly. It hasn't been a fluke. The sample size is still small, admittedly. But this isn't like a one-off fluky kind of thing. Bro, look at Nikola Vucevic getting in the passing lane and using his size. That's not something we've seen him doing. Here's Boozy on the alley-oop. Giddey running the offense, but also having the confidence to step into some shots. Let's find those. Giddey confident three. Stepping into this three-pointer. They're daring him to shoot, and he's saying, okay, I gotcha. 32 points, a career high for the former Thunder from down under. And you are looking at a team with a well-rounded attack and a young point guard who is ascending. Two young point guards, really, that are ascending right now. You could even throw Kobe White in that mix if you wanted to. Ayo Dosunmu and Josh Giddey are two young guards in this league that are still getting better and still have not reached their ceiling yet. And like here's Giddey hitting this three right before halftime. Like he dribbles out the shot clock and then he drains it. We haven't seen Josh Giddey doing this in his career. The Thunder had to bench him. They had to hide him because he couldn't shoot threes, because he wasn't spacing the floor. And now he's taking the last shot at the end of the half? Come on, man. Not only is that development, that's star shit. That's superstar shit. Calling on yourself? You're the point guard. He called on himself. That's star player stuff. I can't say enough about the balance that this team has and how impressive it is to see where they've come from where they've been. And something that I think it's underrated sometimes in sports is like having a team that was bad and what it can do to the team chemistry and the team camaraderie to go from being bad to good together. Because that's a rare thing. There are a lot of players who might come into a league, a professional organization, and be on a bad team and then have to go to a different team to be on a good team. There are a lot of guys who come in on a good team and maybe they play on a good team for a bit and then it gets bad. But having a group of guys now that have been together, like most of these guys, right? Okuro's still new, but most of these guys now have been together since the trade deadline last season. And you have seen the chemistry they've developed. You have seen the way that they all support each other. They all want each other to succeed. They're playing team basketball. They're playing for each other. That's what this shit is all about, guys. If we don't have the superstar, if we don't have that number one overall pick, generational type player, you're going to do it by committee. And that's what the Bulls are doing right now. It's a great thing. It's an impressive thing. There's still more work to be done, of course, but a big win over a good team like New York, closing them out in the clutch when New York was making a very, very concerted effort to get back into the game. This is encouraging. I think this is a sign that things are different. Thank you for the follow. This is a sign that things are different. I have not seen this team play such physical defense since, the Thibs era, man. Right? Like, where's that? Jalen Smith had that crazy block. Here we go. Like, look at this kind of shit. I don't think I've seen defense coming off of, like, interior defense coming off of the bench like this since Taj Gibson. Am I crazy for saying that? Can anyone in the chat validate me? Like, have we seen interior defense that is this strong since the days of Taj and Joakim? Because I don't think so. I can't think of what a time. This is a different team. This does not look like the team that we saw starting last season. And they, like, to start last season, they played well then too. I want to go back to that. Like, they started last season well too. I remember we were all hype about how Vooch was playing and Zach was playing in our minds for the trade return that they could get. And this feels still like miles ahead of that. And, sometimes things are like, sometimes there's a vibe and sometimes there's a gut feeling. And you have it. You have it with this team. There is a vibe to this team. They are fun. It's fun to watch these guys play basketball. And I'm going to keep bringing it up because I don't want to say I called it because that sounds really smug, but in the offseason, I tried to tell people, like, I think they will be fun because they play so fast. A young team without those expectations, playing fast, bought in to the coaching philosophy, like, that is how you have fun. That is how you start a culture reset, is with young guys who are playing for each other, unselfish. And it starts with Josh Giddey. Giddey's drawing fouls. He's getting to the line. He's finishing at the rim, creating shots for his teammates and himself, running the offense like the oop. Reading the floor. Teddy says the disrespect to Felicio is crazy. You know what? Felicio was an elite rim protector for his time. in his era. I'm not sure if he would keep up in this era, but in his era, elite defensive player for sure. But yeah, man, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by this team, and we're gonna see where they go. You know, that's another element to this, is like, this is all so brand new. We really don't know what the ceiling is yet. And I know some people feel pretty confident about what the ceiling is, you know, like it's a first round exit at best. You're going to hear that all the time, play-in team at best. But coming into the season, that's all what we expected was play-in team at best. And they have already exceeded that expectation. They are playing like a playoff contending team. So if they've already exceeded that expectation, what else can they do? Like, what else are they capable of doing? We don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to watch. Patrick Williams. And one. Strong drive to the bucket. Got Bridges on skates. I got you, Teddy. At Bridges, the Knicks have so many good defensive players, and we made them look silly at times. Where's that IO buzzer beater? Here we go. Look at what he's doing to Bridges. He crossed him over. like y'all, this is one of the top defensive teams of the last few seasons in the NBA. I really don't want that point to get lost. And not only that, but our their offense has also been really good, and our defense came to play. And we were able to shut them down. I think the Bulls were giving up something around like 117 points per game. So the Knicks were able to get a little bit higher than that, up to 125. But I mean, let's look at the team stats. Three-point percentage, 40%. So that was another one of the things that we had seen, is that the Bulls were holding teams to a lower three-point percentage than average. So you see, and there were people saying, like, it's not going to last. They can't sustain it. Well, there you go. They didn't sustain it. The Knicks did shoot 40% from three, and the Bulls still won because they still played defense well in other ways. Knicks didn't shoot particularly well from the free throw line. The Bulls had 8 steals. The Knicks had 12 total turnovers, got 25 points off of those turnovers, scored 54 points in the paint, and only gave up 38 points in the paint. Let's go back to that point. Taj Gibson, Joakim Noah. When was the last time we were dominating points in the paint, guys? Because I don't think it was 21-22. I think this is the best defensive team we've seen since the Thibodeau era. The Joakim, Taj Gibson era. They got to keep it up, though. So that is one thing that I want to say before we get too ahead of ourselves, is that it is still early in the season. They're playing a pace that is faster than most teams. They do have mostly young players. Vooch is the vet. So over the course of a season, there are going to be injuries. There's going to be fatigue that sets in. And another test for this team is going to be seeing how they respond to kind of like the dog days of the season, when we get to like January and February, when, you know, like guys are starting to mentally check out for the All-Star break, or like certain teams kind of have their position locked in already. Like, how are they going to look then? Because I think, you know, January to February has been one of those really tough stretches for this team in previous years. Like, they've had hot starts before that kind of peter out, and then they have to try to claw back in, you know, in March to try to get back into a play-in spot. So I want to see how they look when the basketball isn't necessarily the most important. I want to see if they're keeping up this level of intensity. And not that those games aren't important, right? But they aren't like, opening week. They aren't cup night games. They aren't games down the stretch of a play-in run, trying to get in a play-in spot before the end of the season. There's not as much urgency to those games, let's say. Teddy mentions Giannis will be an interesting test for interior D. That is a great point. We're going to see the Bucks next week. Another NBA Cup game. That'll be another one to watch. I mean, shit, we got to see the Knicks again on Sunday. We got to run this shit back and do it all again on Sunday. That's another good test. We're going to run it back on Sunday. We're going to try to beat them again. If we beat these guys 2 games in a row, put some respect on their names. I'm saying it. I already said if the Bulls went 5-0 that nobody could tell me shit. I am firmly there. Nobody can tell me shit. But if we beat the Knicks back to back and we go 6-0, nobody can tell anybody shit. Because that's real. That's real right there. That's dominating right there. And you know what's crazy is, like, I don't feel afraid to say these things because I don't feel afraid that I'm going to jinx it. And I still might. I might regret. You come back here, look at this later, be like, what the fuck were you thinking? But right now, in my mind, this team is good enough that we don't need superstition. That we don't need, luck. And yeah, it's different. It's just different. And like, if somebody tells you that it's not different, like, explain to them you don't understand how it feels because you weren't there. Like, if you haven't been watching this team for years, you don't get to comment on whether or not it's different. We're the ones who know. We've been here. We've been doing this for a long time. And when it's different, we know, and this is different. Whew. What a game, guys. Top to bottom, another great game. Another team win. We are in the everybody eats era. These are the everybody eats Chicago Bulls. Got the Halloween dub. That's a scary sight, y'all. That's a scary sight. The Chicago Bulls on Halloween. The Knicks did not want that smoke. They said trick, we said treat. Treat for us. That was nice. That was nice. Listen, guys, it's getting late. I'm going to have to edit some clips, get some stuff up on socials. But I love doing these live streams after games. I'm going to try to do as many as I can this season. Make sure to subscribe, whatever platform. We're streaming live right now on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter all at the same time. I'm making it easy. Whatever platform you guys like, you can watch from there. But please do follow and subscribe so we could stay up to date. You guys know I'll have more recap content coming. This episode will show up in the podcast feed. So if you like to listen to this kind of stuff, you can do that in the podcast feed. And we're going to talk again on Sunday. We're going to go for 6-0 on Sunday, folks. I hope y'all ready. Strap in. We are on Billy Donovan's wild ride. Oh, real quick, before I go, I got one more thing for y'all. The return of an old favorite. Arturus Fan Club. So if anyone here has been watching my videos, if you've watched me for a long time, if you followed me for a long time, it all started as a meme. It all started as a joke. Just having some fun with, what was it? Pandemic era, stuck inside, wanted some positivity, needed some positivity and hope. And we hired AK at that time, so it felt like the right time to have some positivity and hope. But had to retire that name for a while because, you know what, man? I wasn't seeing the vision. And shout out to AK for having a vision and sticking by it. It's all still remains to be seen what happens from here. But we have given the front office a lot of shit. It's time to give them credit. This is working out early. It might not work out in the end. It's working out early. And so we're going to give them credit for it working out early. Whatever happens in the future, we'll react to it when we get to it. But for right now, I'm going to give AK his flowers. He made some good trades, bringing in Trey Jones and Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins. He made a good move bringing Trey Jones back to Chicago. Obviously, re-signing Giddey was the big move, and all of it is looking pretty solid at this current moment. From this perspective, from the view that we're watching from right now, looking pretty solid. So, yeah, the Kings curse lives on. It does feel like in some ways, I mentioned this the other day in a group chat. In some ways, it feels like one of those curses that you have to like pawn off onto someone else in order to lift it, to get rid of it. So it not to call players curses, because that's not at all what I'm trying to say, but just kind of the vibes of the team and the philosophy of the front office. It does kind of seem like we've pushed that onto the Kings, and we are firmly onto a new era now that everybody eats Chicago Bulls. Shout out to Billy Donovan, Hall of Fame inductee head coach. He saw that he got that Hall of Fame induction. He's like, all right, man, I get this for what I did in my college career. I'm gonna show y'all what I can do in the NBA next. And this is good stuff so far. I've seen people making comparisons to the way Billy is running this team to a college team, and kind of like that unselfish play, the philosophy and the system being the top priority, rather than trying to feed star players their reps or their shots. That's why it feels different, right? Feels different because everybody is bought in and playing. Like, you wouldn't be able to win like this if these guys weren't bought in and playing the way that Billy Donovan needs them to and envisions them to. I think either Adam Amin or Stacey King brought it up on the broadcast that Kevin Huerter was talking about, in the offseason, how Billy had asked him, to prioritize certain things with his workouts. Maybe it was Casey Johnson who tweeted it, to prioritize different things with his workouts. And like, this is why, like, this is the vision that he had for the team. And I don't think they were capable of implementing this vision back when, the roster was a little bit more clunky, and the fit, for your star players with your role players wasn't really there, and guys weren't really meshing. You had Javonte Green playing as your power forward sometimes. Like, that's not an issue right now. We are firmly positionless, it feels like, in a lot of ways, because they have that versatility, that length, that speed, that switchability defensively. That's what the modern NBA is. And we have wanted the Bulls to modernize for a long time. And we have criticized the moves they've made, like getting rid of Peter Patton, feeling like that was a short-sighted or just kind of, weak, lame, a short-sighted move was getting rid of Peter Patton, feeling like we were taking a step backwards. But we obviously aren't in the building. We don't know all the details of what's going on. And they did do some updates to their advanced analytics this offseason. We know that they made some hires for that department, scouting and analytics. And like, I think you're seeing the benefits of overhauling the philosophy of the team. They have modernized the Bulls offense without sacrificing defense. I want to keep coming back to that, because we all discussed in the offseason how defense was going to be the biggest challenge for this team. And so far, it has been their strength. That is impressive. That speaks to a team that is working hard, that is listening and buying into the coaching, and they're playing for each other. I know I keep saying it, but like, we have not seen this kind of basketball, at least in a while. Okay. It is almost 11. What a fucking night, man. What a night. My phone's been blowing up. I got to get back to it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following along. It's been a crazy start to the season. I am having a ton of fun. I hope you guys are too. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep rolling. Make sure to follow, subscribe on all the platforms. It's at ChiSportsRoss on every single platform. And we're going to talk again soon, guys. Go Bulls, and enjoy your weekend. Stay safe.